Man, I know I used the term that I got a special guest. You might have heard me say it a couple of times. Well, the day, as the youngest would say, I got a special guest in all caps, man. My man, the councilman of Washington, D.C., Trayon White.
Kirk, what's up, big guy? How you feel?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I'm
Yeah.
blessed, man. You know, this time moving good, man. Good stuff lined up, man. I'm just happy to have you here, man.
Yeah.
Let's just dive straight into it, man. Trayon White, the councilman, a.k.a. Trey.
Yeah.
Any other nicknames you got, or just Trey?
Well, I had some along the way, man. Suave, Brown, Trey Day. You know how it is growing up in the hood, man. You get nicknames every 2 years.
Was it Suave for the style? What that was about?
I have no idea. I had Stinky Stymie, so I had a few.
Well, for people that's outside of Washington, D.C., I know you're from Washington, Southeast Washington, D.C. What part of Southeast you from in Washington, D.C.?
I'm from First Street. That's the Highland, MLK Avenue area, Congress Heights community. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Give us a visual. Give me a picture of a visual back in the day of inside Trey house and then coming outside in Highland, Southeast D.C.
All right. So first, man, I grew up in a close knit family. On my great grandmother's side, she had 13 kids, and on my grandfather's side, his father had 22 kids. They was more so from the Linda Poland area, but mostly all of us was in Southeast. We had some that was in the Trinidad area, but my mother raised 4 of us with my grandmother's help. We lived in a 2-bedroom. There's normally 8 people living in a 2-bedroom growing up, with cousins coming in and out, because my cousins, when they was in the streets, they lived with us, didn't live with us, and there was always some transition going on. But it was some good times and bad times. I grew up in the 80's and 90's when DC was DC. Yeah, it was tough, man. But as a child, we just had a lot of fun. Played the number 11 Boys and Girls Club. Was an athlete, grew up just like a regular kid in Southeast, man, trying to survive the streets, man.
Right. What was your favorite sport?
Well, it was originally football, but I didn't get much bigger. So I stopped playing. Ironically, I played basketball in high school from 9th grade to 12th grade. I played football a lot, Little League coming up. And then I ended up coaching Little League football in my senior year of high school. I coached for 9 years, Little League football.
I know about that. I'm going to get to that too. That's strong. Man, so the part of South DC from, for those who don't know, I know that was off that first. There was a lot of at that time. Was it heroin or was it crack? What was the biggest strips drug bunkers over there?
Oh, man, it was a little bit of everything. It depended on which corner you go. During that time, Bone, it was going down every which way you go. So, with certain days we couldn't leave off the porch. Some days we couldn't go outside. Then if something happened in my neighborhood, 10 times out of 10, my family was involved with it. I didn't grow up in like a big neighborhood per se. You know what I'm saying? We was kind of isolated to ourselves. Like when my grandmother moved where she moved, 3 of her sisters moved in the same location. So their kids came along too. So that's pretty much how it was, because our family navigated from 37th to Northeast to Newcomb on MLK to First Street. So we've been in the Atlantic Street, First Street, South Capitol Street area for a few decades.
And that's why I said I wanted to get a visual coming out your house, because I remember vividly back then when you go over Southeast, man, it was just like droves and droves of people on every corner. I'm from Northeast side, so we had people out, but it wasn't every corner. It was every 2 corners, it was like a...
Yeah, well, the historic redlining in D.C. created a lot of that, right? Where it put people who couldn't afford to live anywhere else to certain quadrants of the city piled on top of each other. And that's where the violence started sparking in with the crime, with the drugs. You know how it was, Kirk, firsthand. And the kids was really a lot of us was left to fend for ourselves, being as though a lot of the mass incarceration that crippled the black community, that took a lot of the men out of the community as well. So it was really a transition period for DC, not just Southeast, but DC as a whole.
Right. And during all that time, did you it seemed like you was real isolated, nice insulated family, but did you ever come across any trouble times as far as with the law or,
Well, early on, man, it wasn't the fact that, God gave me a lot of gifts and people in my life that pointed me on the right track. You know what I'm saying?
Powerful. Right.
We were just talking about Murray and Burry. I go back to Naughty, Mace, Deron, J-Bone, Monty. There were certain people God put in my way to kind of stir me to the right track, even when I wanted to veer off. I remember early on, shout out to Mr. Lou. I was struggling
Right.
economically in high school because I ain't had much. And I was leaning towards trying to get some money. I was thinking about going to the streets. Streets was easy for me because it was around me every day.
Right.
But I never really wanted to be in the streets.
Right.
And so I got caught up with stealing cars with my friends, just getting caught up with that. But I never was really in the system, you know. And when I did get caught one time by the police doing some stuff with the UUs, we was part of the first kitty car thieves that came through DC that was going from MLK Southeast Side all the way over to the Simple City area. And then I decided, man, I ran into a guy named Mr. Lou on MLK. That's when we had beepers. I used to have a pager. I used to have a pager, a green pager, man. I didn't never pay my pager bill, and he beat me. I thought it was a little girl in my school, you know. I called him, and he was like, man, I can see you keep walking past my store every day. You don't pay your bill. Mind you, I'm playing up number 11, so I'm going up there to play football.
Right.
But I'm walking past him. His store was called Players Page, right there by Players Lounge on MLK.
Right.
And he was like, man, what you need a job? And man, my bill was only $9 a month.
Right, yeah, that's it. Well, you talking about all the way back.
And I had to make a decision. Do I going to go in the streets and do this? Or am I going to go up here and sacrifice? And I think I was making $30 a week, Kurt. $30 a week. And I was working 5 days a week.
And $30 a week.
$30 a week, man. But I always say, man, if you can discipline yourself enough to go through one door, God will open so many other doors behind it. Because I met a guy named Jay Son by working up there, and he was asking me, man, Trey, you want to go on BET? I'm like, BET? Nah, I don't want to go no BET. I'm good. Well, I'm chilling. I'm trying to survive out here.
Right.
And a little while later, I ended up seeing a commercial about Teen Summit on BET.
Right, yeah.
And then I was like, man, I might do it, but I didn't quite know how to do it, what I was doing. So I went to the BET, John did the interview, and I interviewed about 1,200 people and picked 15. I made the squad, and I went to BET. But it started with me making a decision to go work in that store. You know what I'm saying? And that really gave me a platform, that gave me introduction to knowing my greatness of who I really am, and not really giving us the notion that I have to get caught up in the drugs and the lifestyle to die in the streets. And so that was really critical for me.
Right, that's powerful. That speaks to your foundation. I speak a lot about foundation to juveniles and adults. So your foundation is real sturdy for you to be able to make a clear decision like that age like that, man. That speaks to you and your family.
I was insulated. My cousins didn't allow me to do certain things. Like even when I wanted to veer off, they like, man, get your ass in the house, or man, you going to school. It was already set for me, so it wasn't like it is now. Like a lot of the youngsters are able to run rampant through the community, how they want to do what they want to do with no repercussions, no structure, and no chastisement. It wasn't like that for me, so I was blessed in that regard.
I know one thing, man. They said you got right out the gate, you a hell of an entrepreneur as far as selling stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up, man. Speak to that, man, your entrepreneurial skills at a young age, man. Speak to some things you did,
man. I knew I didn't want to sell drugs, but I sold everything but drugs. So, I think at about like 11 to 12 years old, my uncle Ronell White, he was the first person in my family to graduate from college.
Okay.
He took me up to Florida Avenue, the little market up there.
Okay, yeah.
And I started buying stuff up there, bringing it back to the neighborhood and selling it. I was 12 years old. I used to ride my bike selling stuff, and I used to sell cupcakes, cookies, candy, on the back of the truck with Travis and ears and all them.
Right.
So, I always had a notch for just trying to make some money.
Right.
Because I always wanted to, I used to wear the Jordans and all that because my mother couldn't afford it. Mm-hmm. So we was going to get it how we get it. Right. And the streets wasn't the way for me, so.
So you learned marketing, budgeting, inventory, all that. Was it any entrepreneurs in the house before you?
My uncle had a business that he imported stuff from Africa called Images of a Darker Color. So I saw him and Juma running that business. So yeah. And he wasn't directly in my house per se all the time. I did live with him for a few, but that I always had I kept, when you're young, man, back then you used to see money. Like I saw people with money every day, stacks and stacks of money. But I was like, man, I got to get me some.
Yeah, right.
I got to get me some of that.
Right.
Yeah. So you taking me back, man.
Right, yeah, man. Because I say, man, I did my little extra research. They say, man, Trey, man, he might bring a refrigerator around this joint, man, and sell that joint, man.
Sold first day.
Joint, man.
Yeah, no question. I used to sell headbands, refrigerator back. That's when DDTP was out.
Right, yeah.
Hobo all the, madness, all days. That's back. It was.
Yeah.
It was really a DC thing back then, man.
You said everything, man.
Yeah.
This is nice. So, man, you end up. I know your sports world was in number 11 Boys Club, which is a hell of a history of Boys Club.
Yes, sir.
But you making them teams over there, you must have some game, man, because it's deep as shit on Southeast, man. That's a lot
no
of people.
question.
It's deep as shit. I know the basketball practice had to be about 50 dudes, man, to practice, man.
Man, I had a coach named Renato Naughty Gillis, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he had to cut you down. So what he do is, like, those who know number 11 basketball know you had to come through Naughty.
Right.
He make you do 1,000 jumper jacks and 100 suicides every day till people start quitting.
Yeah.
Man, every day. So I'm saying people that's better than me.
I'm going to say, even you got talent, it don't matter.
Oh, talent don't matter. He gonna set the tone. And we gonna be in shape and we gonna win through discipline, instruction, skill beyond time. I'm saying people better than me getting cut. So I was like, man. So yeah, it was like that, especially football. But yeah, I know a lot of my childhood friends from across the city from playing Little League over the years coming up. So that gave me a way out too, because back then, if you played sports, that kind of shielded you from the streets too.
Right.
You got to pass. So yeah.
And that's universal. And I tell people that even in jail, even in penitentiary, dude can hoop a hell of a joint. It kind of keep you out the way of a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? People, for some reason, that black thing in the basketball, they give you almost like a pass, especially for a good guy.
I graduated from Ballou. I played varsity for Ballou my 12th grade year.
Right.
And I just remember a lot of stuff going on that year.
Right.
And a lot of the dudes who was affiliated with a lot of different neighborhoods that was really up in it real deep got passes, man. They was able to go on and do some things in their life and not really have to make that move when it was going down. So I remember those days. And nowadays, it don't matter who you are.
Right.
Yeah, it's no rules, no structure. We was just talking about it. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Man.
We're going to touch on that too further down the line.
Yeah.
You played Ballou, man. I know y'all ain't beat Spingarn, man. Yo, I'm a Spingarn agree, but y'all ain't beat us. I know,
That's what, I don't know if you know Delano Hunter.
Delano.
Delano played. He played with them when I played. We never beat Spingarn. I had 15 on Spingarn.
Yeah, 15 on him. Okay.
Absolutely. Check the books.
All right, Delano, we got to pull the books on him, man. Check 15, man.
We had a superstar on our team, Darryl Morrow. Who was real good. We had a young guy, John Flood, Yeller. We had a pretty decent mob. They won the championship that year.
Yeah, I made the uniforms.
Oh, you know? Okay. Green Wave.
You know, I'm a alumni. Yeah, I'm Delano and all of them, man. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, so high. Yeah.
Okay. Out the park, niggas know me. Curb on, little homie. All days. Been a road.
Thank you for watching Changing Jewels on Kirkbone TV. If you like the jewels that we are dropping, subscribe, hit the notification, and share with some friends. And I'll see you on the next episode of Changing Jewels, Kirkbone TV.